The twin sisters, one gentle and considerate like water, and the other willful, capricious, and unreasonable. The not-so-gentle little sister is currently apologizing for her rudeness just now. But Shirley immediately showed an angry expression when she saw this situation. Seeing this, the little sister patted Shirley's shoulder and comforted her by saying, "Sister, didn't you say he shared food with you? He helped you, so he is a great benefactor to us." Shirley still had a proud expression on her face, but when she thought about the food, she eventually compromised. This scene made the girl a little at a loss. She quickly changed the topic and asked Hao Good-Man, "How did you meet my sister?" The man looked excited and said, "It was on that day." But before she could finish her sentence, Shirley covered her mouth. Shirley blurted out nervously that she saw a man being set up by members of the Black Lotus gang. Then she saved him, and that's how they met. But she failed to realize that her actions nearly caused the man to die on the spot. She was still thinking that she absolutely couldn't let her sister know that he had peeked at her while she was showering. The younger sister looked at the two of them with a suspicious look on her face. Wasn't he just said to be in the bathroom? Just saw Hao Good-Man being patted on the shoulder by Shirley, looking flustered as he said, No, you must have misheard it." And at this point, the young lady seemed to be channeling Black Widow. "Okay, but if I find out you have ulterior motives towards my sister, I won't let you off," she said. Looking at the young lady's sinister gaze, Hao Good-Man's hair stood on end, thinking to himself that this woman changes faces too quickly. But at this moment, the young lady suddenly made a violent coughing sound. Hao Good-Man comforted the young lady, who was looking nervous, reassuringly. Thinking about the bandages wrapped around her body, her pale face, coughing, and chest pain, could it be that the young lady has some health issues? Thinking about this, he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, only to see that the young lady's body had been infected very severely. Seeing this situation, Hao Good-Man asked nervously, "What happened to the young lady's wounds?" Shirley immediately put on a ferocious expression. "It's those damn Black Lotus gang again. My sister and I went to a food freezer warehouse 10 days ago to look for food. We were lucky to find some food that day, but unexpectedly members of the Black Lotus gang rushed in too. They were fully equipped. They have been obtaining food through looting. But with food being so precious in the post-apocalyptic world, we certainly don't want to give in easily. So we started fighting. And you know my skills too. And my older sister is also a sharpshooter. She almost never misses a shot. Along with our great teamwork, we easily defeated them. And one of the women begged for mercy from us. I had already wanted to let them go. But I didn't expect that woman to play dirty. She took advantage of our unpreparedness and attacked us. And my sister, upon discovering, took the blow for me. Seeing my severely injured sister, I originally wanted to seek revenge. But the sound of our fighting attracted many zombies. In the end, I had no choice but to take my sister and leave, although we managed to escape. But my sister's wound became infected. Originally, it only needed a little bit of penicillin to solve the infection problem. But because it wasn't found, the wound couldn't heal. And my sister's body is getting weaker and weaker. She is in pain every day and can't sleep. I feel like she can't hold on much longer. Watching my sister lying in bed in unbearable pain. Shirley cried like a pear blossom in the rain, pleading with the man for help. She is willing to do anything to help her sister recover. And at this moment, the man had already made calculations in his heart. These two young ladies are not only talented, but also very beautiful. They are the perfect choice for my post-apocalyptic girl group. I just need to go back to the original world to retrieve the medicine to save her. But I don't have enough gold to teleport back now. I have to get them to help me find the gold first. The young ladies, who heard about collecting gold, looked confused. Gold cannot be eaten and cannot be exchanged for useful items. Why are you collecting gold? You don't need to worry about this. As long as you promise, it's all good. I will not only help you find medications, but also provide you with the best food in the world. when you hear the best food. Surely, this foodie immediately lit up with excitement. While Amy pondered that since this person is willing to share even food, he doesn't seem like a bad person. Plus, in this world, everyone has their own secrets. Since he can help us survive, why ask more questions then? Thinking about it, the girls agreed to come along. Later, they mentioned that there is a large casino in the west of the city called Quan Prefecture, where they use gold as chips. There should be a lot of gold reserves there. Hearing the zombie group, Hao Good-Man's eyes light up. That's great. Just in time. You can fight zombies and collect gold at the same time. This way, you can earn mana from the original world faster. Thinking about it, he said to the girl, "Don't worry about this. I have my own way." He then used his mind to bring out a lot of food and placed it on the table. "Let's all have something to eat. Let's take a rest for the night. We will set off for the gambling city early tomorrow morning." Amy looked puzzled when she saw the sudden appearance of food, but she did not say much. Shirley, on the other hand, was excited and did not pay attention to these details at all. Evening. Amy, lying on the bed, was still tortured by illness, and found it difficult to fall asleep. Hao Good-Man stood on the balcony basking in the moonlight, wondering about the current situation of his company and brothers, not knowing whether he should hurry back and expose the mastermind who used Rose to kill him. Shirley, on the other hand, was secretly watching Hao Good-Man, thinking that if she had not gotten blood on herself during the fight with the Black Lotus gang, fearing it could attract zombies, she would not have found a temporary base to clean up, nor would she have encountered this old pervert. But I don't know why I feel very peaceful when I'm with him. However, at this moment, there suddenly came the sound of rustling from outside. The man quickly opened the dojutsu for a look, only to see a large group of people slowly approaching them. "In order to prevent my future wife from being taken away, there's no other way but to summon System Girl to upgrade the dojutsu and enhance strength, to resist the attack of the she-devil from the Black Lotus gang. Fortunately, I am already a nouveau riche now. I didn't hesitate at all to click on the upgrade for 10 million. Just heard a ding sound. Congratulations, host. Martial Soul Dojutsu has successfully leveled up. The functional information of Martial Soul Dojutsu has been transmitted to your memory." He felt the upgraded Martial Soul Dojutsu. Hao Good-Man instantly transformed into Super Saiyan. She looked at Hao Good-Man with such excitement. The System Girl immediately became proud, brought to you by the system. Must be a top-notch product. By the way, apart from the expenditure on your recent fund upgrade, you still have 21.01 million. The next dojutsu, Crimson Flame Dojutsu, is more powerful and costs 20 million. Do you want to continue upgrading? Upon hearing about the 20 million price, Hao Good-Man instantly became furious. He thought to himself, this system used to lend money at high interest rates, right? I'd better not level up. If I upgrade again, I won't have enough money to return to the original world. Let's talk about it after I earn some money in the future. Thinking of Hao Good-Man, he decisively waved his hand towards the system and said that he had other funds arranged. But unexpectedly, the system said that the dojutsu has been upgraded now, and he obtained a prize called Spinner of Dojutsu, which is similar to a roulette game, with technique and art equipment as rewards. Looking around with confidence, the prizes not only include the 7-star acupoint technique zombie antidote, but also a series of divine-level props such as the Ganjiang legendary sword. As he watched, Hao Good-Man couldn't help but reach out his money-making hand and click on it. Just heard a click, and the roulette pointer started spinning wildly. Hao Good-Man stared fixedly at the screen. But the next second, he was stunned. Immediately after, he watched as flame shot up 3 feet from the scroll in his hand, thinking, I spent 2 million just to get this? What a rip-off! Hao Good-Man, feeling dissatisfied, clicked on it again. But the next second, looking at the nutrition fast line in his hand directly stunned him. Is this the combination of the single meal package? Hao Good-Man, angry and frustrated, smashed the things on the ground with one hand. By now, Hao Good-Man was already worked up. He didn't hesitate and started playing again. But when he saw the novelty lingerie in his hand, his face turned black lines, thinking that the style was not bad, but it was useless. But suddenly a scene that everyone likes to see flashed in his mind. Immediately after, he revealed a lewd expression on his face. The Black Lotus gang, with great numbers, came for revenge. The girls knocked on Hao Good-Man's door and asked him to leave quickly, but after knocking for a long time, the door still didn't open. Due to the urgency of the situation, Shirley directly resorted to a brute force collision against the door. But at this moment, the sound of the door opening could be heard. Hao Good-Man appeared behind the door, looking at Shirley rushing towards him with a puzzled expression on his face. But with a bang, Shirley directly tackled Hao Good-Man to the ground. Shirley, who had her first intimate contact with a man, looked shy, while Hao Good-Man looked lecherous at the panicked young lady. "Why aren't you getting up yet? If you don't get up, I will have to get up." Upon hearing these words, Shirley instantly understood Hao Good-Man's words and loudly scolded, "You old pervert!" Immediately, he twisted on Hao Good-Man's waist, causing him to cry out in pain. Amy, who was nearby, hurriedly said, "Stop playing around. The members of the Black Lotus gang are about to arrive." Seeing that they have a large number of people, their leader Lily should also be on her way. She is not easy to deal with, as she carries an assault rifle and a silenced handgun. And at this moment, Shirley has already stood up. She brushed off the dust on her body and said fiercely, "Sister, your injuries were caused by them. Today, even if I have to risk my life, I will make them pay for it with blood." Hao Good-Man hurriedly stepped forward to dissuade Shirley from risking her life. "Don't act impulsively. This vengeance must be avenged, but I have a way to settle the score without any harm and still come out unscathed." Although they were somewhat skeptical of Hao Good-Man's words, the young ladies eagerly asked, "What method do you have?" Just then, Hao Good-Man took out a bikini and exclaimed excitedly, "It's the strategy of using beauty to win people over." Upon hearing about the strategy of using beauty, Amy blushed instantly, with images of herself wearing a bikini flashing in her mind constantly. Shirley, on the other hand, threw a punch at Hao Good-Man, saying, "You dress him up and use the handsome guy strategy." "Anyway, my sister and I will not wear such clothes." Immediately, she followed up with a chokehold on Hao Good-Man, causing his face to turn red as he struggled to explain, "Listen to me, I didn't mean for you to wear it." At this moment, members of the Black Lotus gang had already arrived outside the room, and Choo Choo Baby was there too. It turned out that she had been following Hao Good-Man all the way and found out his current whereabouts, only to see Lily with a triumphant look on her face, loudly saying, "Everyone, keep your spirits up. Today, we'll take care of them all." Zombie was even wearing a bikini and high heels, dancing on the pole. Choo Choo and Lily rushed in, wanting to capture Hao Good-Man. They were all shocked to see the scene in front of them. They were wondering what was going on. But the next second, the female zombie jumped down from the steel pipe, revealing countless pairs of blood-red eyes behind her. Then, an uncountable number of zombies appeared behind the female zombie. Choo Choo, seeing this scene for the first time, shivered and pointed at the female zombie, saying, "Are these zombies gathering to watch her dance?" Lily, who had been ignoring the zombies all along, was also frightened and broke out in a cold sweat. At this moment, the zombies that were watching the dance also stopped. Suddenly, with a swish sound, all the zombies turned to look at the two people in unison. At this moment, Lily finally realized what was happening and shouted loudly, "Run! We've been tricked!" Immediately, she quickly loaded the AK and raised it, firing at the zombies. At this moment, a blood-soaked person staggered in from outside the door and barely managed to say, "Boss, we are surrounded by zombies." But before he could finish his sentence, she was immediately engulfed by the zombie horde. And Choo Choo's companions around her were also gradually bitten by zombies. As she watched the blood spatter on herself, Choo Choo was extremely frightened, feeling the ordeal of her companions. She covered her mouth, trembling, and said, "I don't want to die." But the next second, the companion, who was about to cool down, grabbed Choo-Choo's calf and murmured, I don't want to die." This scene directly broke through Choo-Choo's last psychological defense line. While Lily was still resisting the attacks of the zombies, with an AK in her hands. Most of the attacks were ineffective. The female zombie seems to have some kind of intelligence. She blocked the bullets aimed at vital points with her arms. At this time, Lily only had one magazine left. Just as she was preparing to change the magazine, Choo-Choo rushed up directly and punched Lily in the face, while the other hand grabbed the AK. She grumbled and said, "I've been risking my life for you for so long, and haven't gotten any benefits. I can't accept this ending. Give me the AK quickly." Lily, who was under attack, fought back desperately. "Are you crazy? If it wasn't for avenging your sister, we wouldn't have ended up like this. You useless thing. You go to hell." The female zombie coldly watches the two people fighting over the AK, thinking that the ugliness of human nature only shows at such times. It's disgusting. Let them go to hell together. Only saw the female zombie reaching for the gasoline tank. Zombies are not scary. It's scary when zombies are cultured. The female zombie in a bikini carrying a gasoline tank is running towards Choo-Choo. Choo-Choo loudly shouted, "Don't come over!" But the female zombie showed no signs of slowing down. In order to prevent the female zombie from approaching him, Choo-Choo picked up the AK and started shooting at the female zombie. Lily, seeing this, was full of fear and shouted angrily, "Don't shoot! That mother of asterisk 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 is—" But she didn't finish her sentence. The bullets had already hit the gasoline tank. Seeing the flames erupting from the gasoline tank, Choo-Choo also felt that something was terribly wrong. But it was already too late for everything. With the sound of the explosion, a massive fire erupted from the entire house. At this moment, Hao Good-Man was carrying Amy and leading Shirley to escape quickly. But suddenly, he gave an evil smile, and his eyes emitted the same green light as the female zombie just now. At this time, the system popped up. "Congratulations, the host has received 6 million gold coins." Hao Good-Man smiled happily, thinking that controlling zombies to kill zombies could also earn gold coins. This is really perfect. What he didn't know was that his expression had already appeared suspicious to Shirley. Shirley revealed a fierce expression and said, "You old pervert, don't think I don't know what you're thinking." Hao Good-Man, who was immersed in joy, didn't react at first. He turned his head and looked at Shirley in confusion. While Hao Good-Man still had a smile on his face, Shirley exploded, saying, "Stop right now, or don't blame me for being impolite." Looking at this tense atmosphere, Amy hurriedly comforted Shirley, saying, "Shirley, don't be angry. It's not necessary now, and this time the Black Lotus Gang's sneak attack was also Brother Good-Man saving us. Hearing someone speak up for oneself is comforting." Hao Good-Man quickly turned to look at Shirley and said, "Exactly, your sister is reasonable and sensible. Unlike you, who repays kindness with enmity. Can't you learn from your sister?" Shirley, who knew she was in the wrong, turned her head and thought about what it meant to repay kindness with ingratitude. It was all thanks to her gasoline that her beloved motorcycle could not be ridden. At that moment, Amy, who was lying on Hao Good-Man's back, asked in confusion, "Brother Good-Man, why did that female zombie suddenly start dancing?" Hao Good-Man chuckled and said, "It's simple. If I use my miraculous reviving acupoint technique to stimulate her governor vessel, she will involuntarily start dancing. Do you want to give it a try?" The young ladies could only look at Hao Good-Man in gloomy silence. Immediately, the two of them executed a set of moves called "Return My Awesome Punch" on Hao Good-Man. Hao Good-Man, who was hit, looked innocent. He thought to himself, "Even if I told you I could control zombies, you wouldn't believe me. Indeed, men are only honest when they are hanging on the wall. Look, the men in front of us have turned into zombies, and their nature hasn't changed. And the one who started all this is this man. Just because his martial soul dojutsu has been upgraded, he thereby gained the ability to control a zombie every 2 hours. And he can also share the controlled zombie's field of view so that he can resist the Black Lotus Gang's attack. He used his dojutsu to control a very stunning female zombie. He then used the female zombie to attract a group of male zombies to follow. And so the zombie group completely annihilated the Black Lotus Gang. And Hao Good-Man and the girls successfully escaped as well. In order to quickly reach the next destination, they risked traveling through the dangerous night. Fortunately, Hao Good-Man had the skill to control zombies, controlling one zombie to help them scout ahead. They arrived safely in the capital city as dawn broke. However, outside the gambling city, there was a tide of corpses surging. Not to mention humans, not even a fly could fly in. Hao Good-Man stared blankly at the group of zombies in front of him. Shirley walked up to him, grabbing his weapon with both hands. "I'll go draw their attention. You guys sneak in while they're distracted," she said as she prepared to battle the zombies. At this moment, a small hand grabbed her shoulder. "Let me give it a try first," the voice said. Amy walked up holding her bow and arrow. She searched for the attack position through the 8x scope installed on the bow. Suddenly, several oil barrels appeared in the scope. Amy took a deep breath and loosened her grip on the bowstring. The arrow flew past Zombie's ear at a speed of 9,999 meters per second and shot towards the oil barrel, accompanied by the sparks generated from the collision between the arrow and the barrel. A huge explosion sound echoed through the sky, and all the zombies heard the sound and went crazy running towards the explosion site. The square, which was originally flooded with corpses, became empty in an instant. Amy effortlessly solved such a difficult problem with just one shot. Hao Good-Man gave Amy a thumbs up. Shirley also looked proud beside them. She put her arm around Amy's shoulder. "Of course, it's because my sister is sick. If she gets well, she won't hesitate to go 1,000 miles away to capture the enemy general." Amy, upon hearing Shirley boasting about herself, quickly waved her hand and said, No, it's not like that." Hao Good-Man looked at the magnificent city in front of him. He sighed as the air here was filled with the smell of gold. He thought to himself that he would also get one when he returned to his original world. Just like that, the three of them came down from the rooftop. Just as they were about to enter to search for the gold, the ground began to shake violently. The sudden sound scared all three of them, and Hao Good-Man hurriedly asked the girl to hide quickly. And he cautiously stuck his head out to investigate. But when he saw the reason for the movement, it scared Hao Good-Man so much that cold sweat broke out on his back. Everyone has seen zombies before, but this giant baby-level zombie should be something new to everyone, right? Hao Good-Man was so scared of Big Head slowly approaching that he didn't dare to breathe. But suddenly, Big Head Zombie stopped in its tracks. It sat on the ground and started to have a seizure. The commotion caused by Big Head grew louder and louder. The surrounding glass windows all turned into shards. Hao Good-Man and the girls were also in unbearable pain from the commotion caused by Big Head. The noise made by Big Head gradually diminished. Shirley peeked through the window and had a frightened expression on her face. "Is that an evil ghost? I heard it mutated from a regular zombie and has terrifying destructive power. It can match the strength of hundreds of ordinary zombies. I just didn't expect to encounter it here." And hearing how powerful Big Head is, Hao Good-Man picked up a stone from the ground. He bent down to look under the car. Then he pinched his index finger and flicked it lightly. The stone and the road sign made a harsh sound. Big Head, who was causing trouble not far away, instantly rushed to the side of the road sign. It carefully studied the road sign, while the zombie controlled by Hao Good-Man was holding a steel pipe standing above Big Head's head, only to see it with a chilling look in its eyes. It made a swish and jumped down from the street light, stabbing towards the back of Big Head's head. But before it could reach him, Big Head caught it with one hand in midair. Just then, Big Head exerted a little force, and the sound of bones breaking kept ringing out. The light in its eyes was slowly fading away. Big Head took the lifeless zombie in front of him and examined it. Immediately, it grabbed its clothes and threw them into its mouth. With a crisp sound, Big Head carefully savored the crunchy taste. Suddenly, it spit something out, not knowing if it had mistakenly eaten zombie shit. Hao Good-Man, hiding in the dark, watched everything, thinking that this Big Head was not just a simple-minded evil ghost with well-developed limbs. Not only was it intelligent, but it was also very fast. It was probably not something my current dojutsu could control. At this moment, the system jumped out and said, "You guessed right." He watched as the system slowly revealed itself. Hao Good-Man panicked and pointed at the system, telling her to hide quickly. And System Girl remained calm, saying, "Don't worry, they can't see me." The outside evil ghost advanced to a high-level zombie by devouring 10,000 zombies. You currently cannot control it. However, you can obtain rich rewards by killing the evil ghost. Then a temporary task appears in front of Hao Good-Man. Eliminate the evil ghost within 3 days for a special reward. This man cares more about money than his life. He actually wants to take action against this huge monster. Just because the system gave a task to kill the monster and get a generous reward, he was tempted by the reward and lost his mind. At this moment, Amy poked Hao Good-Man, who was still fantasizing about becoming rich and handsome soon. She whispered softly, suggesting, "Shouldn't we take a detour to look for gold instead?" But at this moment, Hao Good-Man's mind was only on 1 billion gold coins and a special reward. He confidently raised his thumb and pointed to himself, saying, "No, I want to find the gold, and I also want to kill this evil ghost." Then he waved his hand again and said, "If we want to find the gold, this evil ghost will always be a hidden danger." He looked at the young lady with a puzzled expression. Hao Good-Man immediately lifted the bewildered Amy over his shoulder and called out to Shirley, who was still standing in place. "Don't worry, I already have a plan in mind. Come with me quickly. Let's find a safe place first to regroup." Just like that, Hao Good-Man sneaked around to the back of the casino and entered through the rear door. They cautiously avoided the group of zombies along the way and arrived at a relatively safe room near the corner. Hao Good-Man, standing at the doorway, stopped the young lady from proceeding further. He was planning to go in and check the safety of the room first. He activated his Sharingan, opened the door, and saw that everything in the room seemed normal. Suddenly, a zombie figure appeared behind the shower curtain. Hao Good-Man walked in confidently, ready to deal with it. But the next second, he slipped. Hao Good-Man immediately performed a skillful display of talent that looks just like the dances you often see from the girls you watch. Immediately followed by the sound of his painful wailing, Hao Good-Man was seen falling flat on his face. Looking at the wax on the floor, Hao Good-Man sighed with regret at his carelessness. But suddenly, an unusual sensation came from his hand. At this time, the girls also heard Hao Good-Man's wail and quickly ran in. But the scene that met their eyes directly stunned the two of them. They saw some strange things placed in the room. And Hao Good-Man is still enjoying the sensation coming from this hand, looking at Hao Good-Man with a lewd expression on his face. Shirley instantly transforms into an uncle. She directly brought a mushroom stack game to the top of Hao Good-Man's head. By the way, she also dissipated the anger of the audience's girlfriends. Facing the angry foodie girlfriend, just give her food. No matter what wrong you have done, she can forgive you. While Hao Good-Man watched Shirley enjoying her food, he waved his hand and said, "You guys eat first. I will go prepare something to deal with the evil ghost." Shirley, who was eating an apple, had completely lost her previous angry expression. She also wanted to go out and help Hao Good-Man. Hao Good-Man turned around with a confident smile and said, "No need. You stay here and protect Amy well. Let me handle the dirty and tiring work." His foodie girlfriend, upon hearing that she wasn't needed, sat back down at the edge of the bed and buried herself in eating. Only Amy stepped forward to bid Hao Good-Man farewell, waving at him and reminding him to take care of his safety. As Hao Good-Man walked out of the door, his eyes instantly lit up, thinking that it wouldn't be difficult to find the treasure vault. He decided to earn some money first to upgrade his dojutsu. He pushed open a rusty old door and walked in. In front of him was a group of hungry zombie Hao Good-Men. He looked at the scene in front of him with great excitement. But at this moment, there suddenly came the sound of the door panel breaking behind him. Hao Good-Man turned his head and saw a gray-colored Hulk standing behind him, gripping his sandbag-sized fist, staring at him fiercely. Then, it punched towards him. But when it was only 0.1 millimeters away from Hao Good-Man's face, it suddenly stopped. It turns out that Hao Good-Man used dojutsu to control him. Just saw the Hulk showing a wise look in his eyes, still babbling in his mouth, following a command from Hao Good-Man. The Hulk ran towards the zombie horde like a giant bulldozer. It knocked down the zombies blocking its path. Feeling the Hulk's monster-clearing ability, Hao Good-Man's eyes lit up. He thought to himself that if he had a team of employees like this, becoming the world's richest man would be just around the corner. But as a time management master, he didn't slack off at all. While the Hulk was clearing monsters, he embarked on the journey to find the treasury. However, after searching through several nearby buildings, he didn't even find a single coin. Just as he was heading back home, a very luxurious office suddenly appeared in front of him. Hao Good-Man's eyes lit up. Is the vault inside here? He activated his dojutsu and walked up to a portrait. When he saw a mysterious switch behind the portrait, he immediately pressed it. Immediately after that, the nearby bookshelf slowly opened. Then a path leading to the safe appeared. It was thought that there was a large amount of gold in the safe. But he used all his tricks to pass through the obstacles. He only found an envelope in the safe, and upon seeing this scene, Hao Good-Man's state of mind instantly exploded. He was seen showing a look of indignation, clenching his fist. He thought to himself, I want to see what kind of envelope it is. Is it worth going to such great lengths to hide it? He was seen using all his strength to throw a punch. He arrived at the envelope with a dark expression on his face. But the next second, upon seeing the contents of the envelope, he immediately took on the appearance of second senior brother. The man couldn't wait to open the envelope. But the scene that met his eyes left him speechless. Hao Good-Man is in a state of panic. He was just about to tear up the photo when the system popped up. The zombie you controlled has been killed, but has earned you a lot of gold coins. He looked at the balance in his account, and immediately requested the system to upgrade his dojutsu. With a purple light sweeping across his entire body, Hao Good-Man instantly felt the immensely powerful upgraded dojutsu, looking excited. The system popped up a notification that your upgraded dojutsu, named Crimson Flame Dojutsu, has gained the ability to control 2 zombies simultaneously, and also acquired the dojutsu of the Hawk and Falcon. Hearing that you can control 2 zombies simultaneously, Hao Good-Man's mind is once again filled with wild thoughts. He then excitedly asked the system, what abilities does the dojutsu of the Hawk and Falcon have? Only to see the young lady blushing and saying, that's something you'll have to research on your own. But suddenly, she revealed a mischievous expression and said, this time, after upgrading your dojutsu, it triggers a new feature, a 10-pull gacha. With a 10-pull, you have a higher chance of obtaining rare treasures compared to a single pull. Do you want to give it a try? Hao Good-Man had a sudden inspiration. He thought to himself, as a big spender, of course he had to draw. But the next moment, looking at the items that popped up, Hao Good-Man was completely dumbfounded. Even the young lady almost sprayed her breakfast out. Hao Good-Man squatted on the ground, searching for the items that popped out. But when he saw that the system actually gave him a finished durian, his brows furrowed. The system, seeing Hao Good-Man's frustration, revealed a sly expression, hurriedly coughed twice to interrupt the awkward atmosphere. Why don't you continue searching? There may be other good things. At this moment, something caught Hao Good-Man's eye. He picked it up, thinking to himself that although this couldn't cure Amy's illness, but it can still provide relief, right? After he put away the ointment, a box caught Hao Good-Man's attention. Just like this, Hao Good-Man prepared to head back home with bags in tow. He just used Mangekyo Sharingan to dodge the Gatling gun's barrage and effortlessly controlled 2 eyeless zombies. He thought he could return to the base happily. Unexpectedly, Evil Ghost suddenly appeared from halfway and blocked the man's way. Hao Good-Man immediately gathered up his belongings. He thought to himself, "I didn't come looking for you, yet you delivered yourself to my door." But Evil Ghost didn't care about that at all. He immediately threw a punch towards Hao Good-Man, causing rubble to fly and dust to fill the air at the spot where Hao Good-Man stood. Wait for the dust to settle. Hao Good-Man stood there unscathed. Shortly after, he revealed a fierce expression and wanted to give Evil Ghost a good beating. But then, a roar of engines interrupted Hao Good-Man's actions, only to see a modified post-apocalyptic armored vehicle quickly approaching him, drifting to a stop right next to Hao Good-Man. Immediately, the door was opened, and an uncle with a stubbly beard waved at Hao Good-Man, urging him to hurry up and get in. Although Hao Good-Man felt that something was a bit off. However, he still got in the car and drove away, while the Hao Good-Man in the car was expressing his thanks to the uncle. But the evil ghost behind them won't give them a chance to chat peacefully.